For the first time in 24 years, the World Series returns to the south side of Chicago. Today we've got games 3 and 4 as the Phillies and White Sox currently tied at 1 battle it out. We'll see if these two teams will remain deadlocked or if one side can potentially take control. Last episode, we had the first 2 games of the World Series in Philadelphia, and I'm really not sure how to feel about them. Because on one hand, despite being the heavy underdogs going into this series, we outplayed them for 16 and a half innings. The problem is we completely blew it at the end of Game 2. The bullpen had a total meltdown, and the offense really struggled in the second half of that game. I don't know how to feel about the offense through the first 2 games of the World Series because it's certainly been a mixed bag. On one hand, we've scored 14 runs. We're hitting for a ton of power. We're drawing a ton of walks, but we're not really hitting the ball consistently solid. In Game 1, we homered 6 times, which is amazing, but we only had 3 hits the rest of the game. We did not get a single until the 8th inning, which is a little bit alarming because it's hard to expect us to continue to hit for this much power, even though we've been the best power hitting team in baseball throughout the postseason. This is not necessarily something we can consistently sustain. Hayden Wesneski was solid. We got 4 innings of 2-run ball, and then the bullpen was mostly good. Got a little dicey towards the end. 5 innings, 3 earned from George Kirby. He was solid, but not good enough. That brought us into Game 2, a game where, despite the fact that we didn't really hit the ball, we had control. Kyle Teel homered twice, but we just got nothing going over the last 3 or 4 innings. And unfortunately, our 4-run lead that we carried into the bottom of the 8th was not enough. Taj Bradley pitched great. Most of the bullpen was good, but Carlos Estevez and Tony Santillan completely blew it. Estevez allows 3, including a homer by Rincones. Santillan comes in, lets up the 2-run shot by Harper for the lead, and then Elly De La Cruz, who hit consecutive homers after Harper. We got that game stolen from us. We were the better team for most of Game 2, and we lost. We cannot afford to lose games like that to a Phillies team who is really damn good. They're the second highest ranked team in the game, only behind the Dodgers, but as I've said, I feel like their roster is better than the Dodgers. Their offense has more depth, their pitching is a lot better, and they just won the World Series last year. They know what it's like to play in these big games, and that showed. They were calm and composed in that 8th inning, scoring 6 runs, avoiding what could have been a series-killing 2-0 deficit. Carlos Estevez and Tony Santillan are the biggest reasons why we lost this game. They've both had good seasons for us, but you can't each allow 3 runs in the 1 inning. It's unfortunate because, again, we wasted a really good start from Taj Bradley, who's been awesome in the playoffs, as good as he was in the regular season, which says something because that's a pretty high bar. The offense certainly needs to do a better job of getting base hits, but it's hard to complain with 14 runs. It's hard to complain with Kyle Teel, who homered 3 times during those 2 games and has 8 for the postseason, which is tied for second all time. Lou Bob has 7. Edgar Caro's been awesome. Our star players are playing like stars offensively, which is exactly what we can hope for here in October. As for the pitching, with Wesneski and Bradley certainly not available for Games 3 or 4, we're going to go to Bryce Miller for Game 3. He had a good regular season, a really good season, but he hasn't played very well in the postseason, especially later into his start. So we're probably going to pull him a little bit earlier than normal. That way things don't come off the rails in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning. For Game 4, I have no clue what we're doing. It's hard to trust Drew Thorpe. The game against Seattle, he pitched really well. I know he allowed 4 earned runs, but for most of that game, he was awesome. And against Minnesota, he doesn't record a single out. There's been no level of consistency with him throughout the year. Noah Schultz as well. He pitched 6 shutty after we had to take Drew Thorpe out, and he's been good in the playoffs, but remember, he sucked in the regular season. Maybe we'll need some bullpen chaos in Game 4. Maybe we get multiple innings from a guy like Ezra Valenzuela. Decisions. That will be a lot easier if we win this 3rd game between Bryce Miller and Andrew Painter. A lot at stake here. The Phillies kind of had the momentum because they did steal away Game 2, but the series is now a best of 5. We have home field advantage. We have played really well at home throughout the postseason, 6-1, including 3-0 in elimination games, 2-0 in winner-take-all games, 4-0 in the ALCS against Minnesota. Playing at home has significantly helped us throughout the playoffs, and I'm hoping that can continue to be the case here against the Phillies. This place is loud. The White Sox faithful have not had World Series baseball in 24 years. It was 2005 with the Pope in the stands. Our team is 6-1 in the playoffs, but that was against the 84-win Mariners and the 83-win Twins. The Phillies, who nearly won 100 games coming off a World Series title last year, are a little bit different. I have no clue what version of Bryce Miller we're going to get. He hasn't pitched very well in the postseason, but a guy who has been very consistent year in and year out, largely with the Mariners, this year with us, made the All-Star team, has played really well. For much of the year, he was technically the ace, so I feel like we've got to trust him. Both teams are largely sticking with similar lineups. We're going to mix and match the order, though. Barney Wagner, who has largely been the number 9 hitter, we're going to have lead off. Corey Julks will take his spot at the 9 hole, and we're going to have Oswaldo Escobedo start instead of Brian Ramos. So here is Bryce Miller. The postseason stats are not good. 6.89 ERA, 1.4 whip. Power's been an issue for him, kind of like Hayden Wisniewski, although Wisniewski has allowed like half as many base runners. But you got to keep the ball in the park. Trey Turner gets his start at the 1-2 up the middle for a base hit into center, and the Phillies start the game with not just a base runner, but a very fast one. We'll see if they can take advantage, look to keep the offense rolling. They did just score 6 runs in their last inning after all. Luis Garcia, that pitch gets away. Turner over to second. It'll be a wild pitch. And the Phillies now have one of their fastest runners in scoring position with nobody out. The 2-2 for Garcia. Turner for third. This one is ripped into the gap. Turner will score with no problem. Garcia over to second. He will waltz in for a double. And the Phillies already on the board as they lead at 1-0, rocking the Powder Blues. Gabriel Rincones Jr. 1-2. In the left. Fair ball. Bounces off the wall. Julks misplays it. It's 2-0. Not the start Bryce Miller was hoping for. 3 batters, 3 base hits. And the Phillies still have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. With the middle of the order, their best hitters due up. Aiden Miller swinging a miss on the slider. Bryce Miller needed that out badly with this start getting away from him quickly. Ellie De La Cruz is at a quiet postseason. Did homer in Game 2 of the World Series as that one goes up the middle for a single into center. Rincones looks to score. The throw from Luis Robert is not in time, and Philadelphia adds to the lead. The Phils are now up 3-0. Justin Crawford now count as full. The speedster De La Cruz will go as soon as the pitch is thrown. Got him looking. We get out of the first. That was certainly a disaster, though. The Phillies have scored 9 runs over their last 2 innings. As we take a look at Andrew Painter, his 3rd postseason start of the year. First 2 did not go particularly well. Painter had a solid season, though, in the regular season, although he did miss around half the year with an injury. Teal gets that one over the glove of De La Cruz. It'll roll into the gap. Around first, heads to second. A historic World Series so far for Kyle Teal. He's already homered 3 times against the Phillies. Talk about a star player who has elevated his game throughout the playoffs into the World Series. The bigger the moment, the better he plays. As Luis Robert goes down on the changeup. We struck out a lot towards the end of Game 2. Too many whiffs, and there's another. Carroll on the high fastball. Painter paints the corner. Get it? 3-0 into the second. We'll see if the Phillies can look to add to the lead. Pedro Pajes is up with 1 away. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Chases the slider. Great pitch by Bryce Miller. That'll bring us back to the top of the order. These guys really set the table in the first. As Turner bloops it into the opposite field. He's 2 for 2. Only 81 off the bat, but it is a base hit nonetheless. The White Sox already have some guys warming up in the bullpen. Miller's got to get out of this. Luis Garcia 2-1. Turner for second. Throw from Teal is not in time. A stolen base for Trey Turner. The Phillies have a runner in scoring position with a chance to add to the lead. 2-2 on the way for Luis Garcia. This one is blooped into right. That goes for a hit. Turner around third. Smith, the throw is offline. And the Phillies lead it 4-0. Luis Garcia drives in another. That'll bring up Gabriel Rincones. Count is even 1-1. Garcia goes for second, and he is safe. This Phillies lineup has been so impressive these past few innings, dating back to Game 2, especially considering they don't have Kyle Tucker, they don't have Adley Rutschman, they don't have Randy Arozarena. Those guys are all hurt. As Rincones goes down on the curveball, good pitch by Miller. Fills out another run, though. They lead 4-0. Cam Smith jammed on the inside fastball. Great pitch by Painter, who has looked awfully impressive early, striking out 3 batters in a row. Full count for Colson Montgomery. Draws a walk. There we go. Montgomery hitless in the first 2 games of the World Series, hoping to get back rolling like he did towards the end of the ALCS. Waldo is up now. Got him looking on the fastball. That's 4 punch-outs through 2 innings for Andrew Painter. 4-0 lead into the third. 4, 5, 6 hitters due up. It'll start with Hayden Miller, the highest-rated player on the Phillies roster, former first-round draft pick. He goes down on the fastball. Good pitch by Bryce Miller. Starting to get some more strikeouts in there. He's up to 5. Certainly does not outdo the impact of the 4 runs being scored, but still nice. As Harper fouls that one away, working a competitive at-bat. Bryce versus Bryce. 3-2 for Miller. Ball 4. So Harper reaches with 1 away. Yet another base runner for the Phillies. They've done really well so far today with runners aboard. Ellie De La Cruz brought home a run his first time up. Behind, though, 1-2. Pitch from Miller. Got him looking. Nice pitch. High outside fastball. De La Cruz goes down looking. Crawford now. He finds himself behind 1-2. And he swings and misses at the sinker. Much, much better inning for Bryce Miller as it remains 4-0. Offense has got to get rolling. Only 1 hit so far. Kyle Teal is up with 2 away. The only White Sox with a hit, his double back in the first. Dear God, what was he swinging at? It's hard to be too mad at Kyle, given how good he's been throughout the postseason, but yikes. Not pretty. 4-0 into the fourth. Pajes with 1 away. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Bryce Miller is starting to heat up. That's why we've kept him in the game, and the decision has paid off. Back to the top of the order. Trey Turner. 2-2 on the way from Miller, looking to get out of the inning as Turner hits this one high and deep in the left. Julks at the track, at the wall. It is gone! And the Phillies add to the lead. It's 5-0. Right when Bryce Miller was starting to play well, he lets up the long ball. So I guess we kept him in a little bit too long. He didn't really show any signs of struggling. If this was one of the other games, maybe we would have kept him in, but I'm not as willing to be patient, seeing how he has struggled late in games throughout the postseason. 3 2/3 innings, 5 earned runs. Not good enough from Bryce Miller. Replacing him out of the bullpen will be Hagen Smith, a guy who can give us multiple innings, gets a lefty in there. The Phillies have a very lefty-heavy lineup, so I think that will certainly help us out, especially towards the top. Guys like Garcia, Rincones, Harper, De La Cruz is better against righties. Justin Crawford, that's 5 of the next 6 batters. Garcia, though, singles in to left. So the number 1 and the number 2 hitters for the Phillies so far today are 6 for 6. That's pretty good. Rincones, 1 for 2 himself, looking for another hit as he sends it high and pretty deep into right center. Luis Robert is under it. He will make the play. The Phillies add to the lead, though. Trey Turner with a solo shot to make it 5-0. Our offense has got to give us something. We've got a lot of work to do, and that's not ideal. I thought that was a ball, though. Not a great call by the umpire. Caro goes down looking with some words after the fact. Marte belts it into right. Finally, another hit. Our first since the first inning. Runner aboard here, 2 away. We'll see if this is where the rally can start. Cam Smith, since coming back from injury, has not been great in the World Series. 3-2, runner goes. Swing and a miss! On the fastball, that's 4 shutty. So far for Painter. We'll move into the 5th. We're hoping to get multiple frames out of Hagen Smith. If this game does get out of hand, I'd rather not use our ideal bullpen arms. As it's Hayden Miller. Sends that one into right, and that will go for a hit. So the Phillies start the inning again with another runner aboard, as that'll bring up Bryce Harper. Hit the big homer to take the lead in the 8th inning of Game 2. Harper on the ground. This should be 2. Montgomery, Escobedo over to Caro. 6, 4, 3. Double play. Good work by the infield as that'll bring up De La Cruz. 2-2 on the way from Smith. Got him looking. So far, so good for Hagen Smith. As that'll bring us into the bottom of the fifth. We'll see if this is where we can finally put ourselves on the board. 7, 8, 9 hitters due up. Montgomery, 2 walks so far for Colson. Working some good at bats. That'll bring up Oswaldo Escobedo. Pops it into the air. That one should be caught in no man's land, and it is. We haven't gotten much out of Waldo in the postseason. Really, all of our platoon guys have struggled. BMO hasn't done anything. Brian Ramos has not been good in the World Series. So interestingly, the Phillies are going to take Painter out of the game here. Pitch count was starting to get high, some long at bats. We saw the 2 walks, of course, with Colson. Montgomery. Really solid outing overall, though, for Painter. 4 1/3, no runs allowed so far. Griff McGarry will come out of the bullpen to replace him. The back end of the Phillies bullpen was tremendous in Game 2. We'll see if they can keep that going here in Game 3. Corey Julks is up with 1 away. He hasn't given us anything yet in the World Series, but he rips that one into center field. A rocket off the bat, 100, as it goes for a hit. Okay, we've got something going here. 2 on, 1 out, top of the order. This is the chance to bring ourselves back into the game. Barney Wagner's had a good World Series. Swing and a miss on the fastball. Pivotal at bat it coming. I don't think there's anybody we would rather at the plate than Kyle Teel. Sends it into left field. That ball is hit well, and it's just foul. Oh, my goodness, that is brutal. We would have scored both runs had it dropped, but it does not. Next pitch, Teel hits it well again into center, right into the glove of Crawford. So Kyle Teel gave us some good swings there, but a foul ball and a fly out will ultimately keep us off the board as it remains 5-0. We'll move into the 6th now. We'll see if the Phillies can add to the lead even further with Hagen Smith still in. He's pitched well so far. Crawford 2-2, swing and a miss on the low fastball. Another punch out for Smith. 2 away. Pedro Pajes 1-1. This one is hit well into right. Smith gives it chase, and he will make the play at the foul line. Another quick inning for Hagen Smith. Retires the side 1-2-3 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. 3 of our best power hitters due up. Could this be where the White Sox finally get on the board? We've got to start the rally at some point. The offense has been lifeless since roughly the 5th or 6th inning of the last game. Lou Bob hits this one well, though, into right, but not well enough as it is caught. I do think we are starting to hit the ball a little bit more solid over the last couple of innings, but they're not really falling. Marte, good take. That was a close one, a very close one. Arguably should have been called strike 3, but the count is now full. 3-2, 2 away. That was not as impressive of the take, as Marte will draw the walk. Runner aboard here for Cam Smith. He's got to give us something here in this World Series. There we go. That's something. Single into center. 2 on, 2 away. Big at bat upcoming for Colson Montgomery, who's played at his best in the postseason in big spots. He has not had many bigger ones than right now as he weakly chops it to the right side of the infield. Play is made at first base. 2 more runners left on by the White Sox as it remains 5-0. Into the 7th now. Trey Turner, 3 for 3 so far. His postseason average is nearing 400 against the lefty Smith. 3-2. This one is grounded to third. We finally did it. We got Trey Turner out. Thank God. Now we have to do the same against Luis Garcia, who's also 3 for 3. His postseason average nearing 300. Garcia rips the liner to first. Good play by Edgar Caro for the second out of the inning. His defense at first base continues to look like a seasoned pro. Rincones swing and a miss on the fastball. What a job from Hagen Smith out of the bullpen. 3 1/3 scoreless innings. He has been a rock star for us, sort of keeping us afloat, but the offense is sinking as Braden Montgomery comes off the bench, strikes out on the changeup. Barney Wagner 0 for 3 in his leadoff debut. Probably going to be 0 for 4. Pops it into shallow right. It is caught by Garcia. 5-0 with 2 innings to go. The one thing I will say is the Phillies were down 5-1 in the 8th inning of the last game. So, I mean, I guess it's possible. They scored 6 as Aiden Miller Hits it up the middle for a base knock, and I think that'll be it for Hagen Smith. The leash for him coming into the inning was 1. We are going to replace him with another lefty, though, Brock Burke. And the reason why we're bringing in Burke here is because the Phillies got Bryce Harper, who's a lefty. Ellie De La Cruz, switch hitter, but is much better against righties. Justin Crawford, lefty. We're playing to the matchups. Runner goes. Harper swinging a miss. That was a very well-timed throw, but it was a little bit off. Montgomery not able to bring it in. Another stolen base for the Phillies, this time by Miller. Harper looks to bring him in, as this one is grounded to third. Good play by Barney Wagner. He'll make the throw for the first out of the inning. Still a good chance, though, to add to the lead. That'll bring up Ellie De La Cruz, hitting from the right side of the plate. Swinging to this. That one gets behind Teal. Throw over to first is not in time. Ellie is safe. Miller advances to third. A wild pitch on the strikeout by Burke. Runners on the corners for Crawford. This one is hit well into right. Montgomery cannot make the play at 6-0. There goes De La Cruz looking to score. It's 7-0. The play at third is in time. Crawford is out, but it is still a 2-run double. Braden's happy he made the throw, and yeah, he made a good throw, but he also could have caught the ball and saved us from this heartache. As David Schneider strikes out, that'll wrap up the 8th. Phillies add 2. 1 earned run for Hagen Smith, and then the other one is not going to be earned off of the wild pitch. Landon Raup will enter here for the Phillies. I imagine their goal is to have him go the rest of the way. The Phillies got 6. In the 8th inning of the last game, we're going to need at least 7 here to tie. Kyle Teal up the middle. That one goes for a hit. You'll never guess the only player on the White Sox with multiple hits today. It's Kyle Teal. His second of the game. At least someone has shown up. Luis Robert hasn't really done much of anything since his homer back in Game 1. 3-2. Good take as he draws the walk. I mean, we got to start somewhere if we want to make this rally happen. 2 runners on base. Just don't put the ball on the ground. And he put the ball on the ground. De La Cruz to second. Over to first. Harper in time. It's a 6-3 double play. I mean, we do move the runner to third, but, I mean, who really cares? There's now 2 outs instead of none, as it's Ketel Marte, who struggled with runners aboard, and he swings and misses at the curveball. 8 scoreless for the Phillies pitching staff. The most dominant offense of the postseason this year looks completely lifeless in their first home World Series game. We're going to have Drew Thorpe pitch the 9th. I just kind of want to see how this goes. I want to see another inning out of him. Try to figure out if we potentially want him to pitch at all in Game 4. Pages singles in to right. Not exactly a great start. Phillies get the leadoff runner aboard, the worst hitter in their lineup, and now we have to see these great players up front. Trey Turner, 1-2. Swing and a miss. Good pitch. Low cutter gets him for the first out of the inning. That'll send us to Luis Garcia, who, of course, also has 3 hits. On the ground at first, could be 2. Caro to Montgomery, back to Caro in time. 3-6-3 double play. That'll bring us into the bottom of the 9th. We haven't scored yet. We need 7 to tie, 8 to win. Are we going to do it? I don't know. We'll see. Josh Sborz is in to finish it off for the Phillies as they look to take a 2-1 series lead. We will start with Cam Smith. 6, 7, 8 hitters due up for Chicago. 2-2 for Smith. Puts it on the ground over to short. De La Cruz fields it cleanly. Throw to first is in time for the first out of the inning. I'm starting to get the hunch that this comeback might not happen. Montgomery goes down looking, still hitless, through 3 World Series games. Shane Schmidt off the bench, our only hope. The 2-1, grounded to the opposite field. Miller at third. Throw is in time, and the Phillies win Game 3 in dominant fashion. 7-0 to take a 2-1 lead in the World Series. This is exactly what I had feared. I was worried that the Phillies were going to carry over the momentum from Game 2, that the offense was going to start hot, which they did. They scored 3 in the first, added another in the second, and that our offense would continue to sputter like they did at the end of Game 2. Our offense has been electric all October. That's no excuse. We did not hit the ball well. Bryce Miller struggled, although the bullpen did give us a good game, but it's not going to matter when the starting pitcher doesn't show up and the offense scores nothing. Philly struck us out 13 times. Painter had 8 of them. The swing and miss stuff has been rough over the last 2 games. It seems like we're trying to swing the bat too hard. We're too focused on home runs when we just need guys to get on base because we have enough power as it is swinging normal. So going into game 4, we've got a decision to make. Wisniewski's not ready. Bradley's not ready. Obviously, Miller is unavailable. Hagen Smith is not really available. He just threw over 3 innings in the last game. So we might have to get a little creative in terms of what we're going to do pitching-wise. As for the lineup, we're going to make another switch. Brian Ramos hasn't been very good as of recent. He didn't play in Game 3. Waldo and Montgomery have not given us anything throughout the postseason. So I feel like there's only one choice to make. I know he has struggled, but Shane Schmidt is a much better offensive player than the rest of these guys. He's 1 for his last 23 with the homer in Game 1 of the World Series off the bench. The fact of the matter is, though, as much as the playoffs have overwhelmed the young 18-year-old, I would rather roll with the good hitter who has struggled in the postseason than the not as good hitters who have struggled in the postseason. Largely in a situation like this, I would like to stay the course. Trust what we have built here, but the Phillies obviously have all the momentum. And if we don't make drastic changes, they are going to run away with this World Series. On a scale of 1 to 10, the panic meter is at about a 50. Especially since they're starting a lefty with Andrew Abbott, we are really going to mix and match the order. Shane Schmidt will start. We're going to have Douglas Cato, who's never played a postseason game in his life, start in the outfield. He does hit well against lefties, although he hasn't played a big league game in a month, and he's making his postseason debut in Game 4 of the World Series. Kyle Teel in the 5-hole, which is high for him against the lefty. As for the starting pitcher, we're getting creative. We're throwing something at the wall. It's Ezra Valenzuela. The first start of his big league career comes in Game 4 of the World Series. We haven't really used him much against the Phils. He's only thrown against one batter, which was back in Game 2 in the 8th inning after Estevez and Santillan blew it. Trey Turner, liner to second, caught by Julks. We're putting Ezra in a big spot, but he's got to save the season. And I certainly trust him. He is the best relief pitcher on the team. Rincones pops it up. Teel makes the grab. 1-2-3 inning. And Ezra kept that inning under 10 pitches. That could not have gone any better. We need as many innings out of him as we can get. Andrew Abbott making the start for the Phillies. Just his second of the postseason. First one went pretty well. 6 1/3, 2.84 ERA, 1.11 whip. We haven't faced off against many lefty starters throughout the postseason, causing us to really shift around the order. Kyle Teel hitting behind some of our best hitters rather than ahead of them. Lou Bob looks at that one. Good take. Count is full. Luis Robert continuing to take some really, really good at-bats throughout the postseason. Okay, what are we doing, man? That was right down the heart of the plate. Right as I'm gassing him up. After a good take on the 2-2 low fastball, he takes that. We'll go top 2. Aiden Miller swinging a miss on the fastball. First strikeout for Ezra tonight. We'll bring us to Bryce Harper now. Count is full, 3-2. Ezra looks to get him on the inside. Cutter! Harper says not so fast. If it's fair, it's gone. Off the foul pole for a home run, and it's 1-0. That's the worst part of Harper's game, that high inside zone. And that's exactly where Ezra's nasty cutter goes. That felt like a great matchup for us. But Ezra may have thrown the cutter a little bit too much in that at-bat. Harper was fully expecting it, and he takes advantage. De La Cruz draws a walk. A base runner again for the Phillies as they look to add to the lead. Justin Crawford now is up 2-2. Ezra goes back to the cutter, and he went around. Yeah, Harper homered off of it, but that's Ezra's signature pitch. As that'll bring up Schneider, 2-2. That one up the middle for a base hit. And the Phillies are making some waves off of the back-to-back all-star closer. 2 on, 2 away. I don't think they would love having Pedro Pages up here as he pops into foul territory. Caro is under it. He'll make the play. On one hand, it's nice that we only allowed 1, but that inning could have gone a lot better. I mean, the Phillies got 1, and that's all they would have needed to win the last game. Ezra's pitch count is also a lot higher with some long at-bats, the walk. Here's something, though. Edgar Caro belts one into left for a single. That was a missile. 117 off the bat, and that barely got off the ground. Kyle Teal now isn't great against lefties, but he's gotten significantly better throughout his career. Teal puts it on the ground over to second. Could be a double play. Throw to first. Not in time. Good hustle by Kyle Teal. It'll be a fielder's choice instead. That'll bring us to Ketel Marte. 3-2. Swing and a miss on the circle change. Good pitch by Abbott. When is the offense going to give us anything? I mean, we have struggled now for a good 12, 13 innings. Full count for Schmidt. Draws a walk. We'll take that. Schmidt has struggled to hit the ball, get on base throughout the postseason. But he works a nice at-bat there, and that'll bring up Douglas Cato. The first career postseason at-bat of his career. And he draws a walk. That works. That certainly works. Uh-oh, the bases are loaded. How are we going to screw this up? Corey Julks has been really not very good in the postseason. He's hitting .210, OPS below 600, has struggled in the World Series. As he looks at the inside curveball, that'll make it 2-1. Big spot here for Julks. This could be our best chance to score in this game, given that, it's hard to expect that we're going to get a ton of other chances, given the struggles we've had, at least recently, at the plate. Fouls off the circle change. That'll even things up. 2-2. Abbott looks to get out of the jam as Julks rips that one foul towards the third base side. These two guys are battling right now. 2-2 again on the way for Julks. Fouls that one back. Neither side giving in. Julks is scratching and clawing to keep the at-bat going. Abbott looks to set him down once and for all. 2-2 again with the bases loaded, and he fouls another one behind the plate. Corey Julks is not making it easy. Give him credit. He is consistently fouling off pitches, staying alive in the at-bat as he fouls off another. The curveball goes behind as well. This has got to be, the 9th pitch of the at-bat? Abbott's pitch count is rising with our busy inning in this long AB. Oh my goodness, that is a good take after fouling off 5 pitches in a row. Julks lets that one go as it hits the edge of the zone. The 3-2 is hit high and deep and very foul. Got a piece of it, but got ahead of it. Count remains full. All 3 runners going. Fouls off another. How many pitches are we at? 11 or 12? This is nuts. 3-2 again for Julks. And that one is connected into left. That goes for a base hit. We're tied. Second run comes across. The White Sox take the lead. A 12-pitch at bat for Corey Julks finishes off with a 2-run single. By far his biggest AB at the postseason. Not only does it give us 2 runs, but Abbott's pitch count skyrockets as Wagner strikes out. That'll end the inning. A very good one for the Sox. We finally score and take the lead 2-1. Luis Garcia goes down on the curveball. Good pitch by Ezra, looking to rebound after a not-so-good second inning. Rincones into left. Cato with his speed will make the play. It will remain 2-1. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Really good second inning for us. We got a bunch of base runners. The 2 rookies, Schmidt and, Cato's not a rookie. He's in his 4th year, but a postseason rookie, if you will. Draws the walk, and Julks with a big hit. Luis Robert with a walk. We've had a few really bad swing decisions against the Phillies, but overall the plate discipline has been really good. We've had some very, very strong at-bats. Caro hits this one high and deep in the left, at the track, at the wall, in foul territory. It is caught. That wouldn't have been fair, but off the bat I thought I'd had a chance to make it over. That would have really put us in a good spot up 4-1. I'll bring up Kyle Teal, hitting .368 in the postseason. That one goes up the middle. Garcia, what a play! Throw to first is in time. All we can really do there is tip our cap. That was phenomenal defense. We'll move into the 4th. Still 2-1. Ezra's leash is getting a lot shorter. He's at 69. Nice pitches as Miller draws a walk. Really, ever since the start of the 3rd inning, I knew I was going to take him out after the Aiden Miller at bat. The Phillies had some righties we wanted to get through at the top. Now they've got a few lefties in a row. So it makes the most sense to take Ezra out here. 3 innings, 1 earned run so far. 2 walks, 2 hits. Not his best, but definitely not his worst. And especially since we have the lead, overall I'm pretty happy with how Ezra has pitched today. And we're going to roll with Noah Schultz. And the goal for him is to hopefully throw 3 or 4 innings. Schultz has looked like a seasoned vet in the playoffs, but we got to remember, he sucked in the regular season. Harper on the ground, not a bad start. Julks at second to Marte, over to Caro. 4-6-3, double play. 1 pitch for Schultz, records 2 outs. That'll bring up Ellie De La Cruz. I know he's a switch hitter, but I'm basically classifying him as a lefty, given his struggles against left-handed pitching. As he grounds out to first, Caro makes the play. Still a 2-1 lead for the White Sox. We still only have 2 hits. I mean, that number's got to go up. We've got to hit the ball better. Shane Schmidt is up. That one is lined to third. Good play there by Miller to make the grab. Abbott obviously struggled in that second inning, but otherwise has looked pretty good. Douglas Cato goes down looking. It will remain 2-1. We'll move into the 5th. As I mentioned with Schultz, we're hoping to have him go at least through inning number 6, maybe number 7. I don't know. We'll see. He'll probably come out at some point between 6-7 as he gets to strike out early with Justin Crawford. Davis Schneider now behind in the count, 1-2. The reigning World Series MVP has been quiet since his big homer back in Game 1. Goes down looking on the changeup. Pedro Pages now, 2-2. On the ground to short. Very makeable play for Marte. Throw to first is in time. Noah Schultz has not let up a base runner through 2 innings of work. He, again, has been really good. Maybe Noah Schultz is a playoff merchant. I don't know. Maybe we did make the right decision paying him $130 million. So the Phillies will take out Abbott, his pitch count rising quickly. Connor Phillips will replace him. The Phillies also are going to want Abbott available, possibly for a Game 7, say out of the bullpen, if they need him. So that's another reason why they're taking him out here, as Corey Julks goes down on the fastball. Barney Wagner now, 1-1, back to the top. Wagner up the middle for a base hit. Finally, Barney Wagner does something at that leadoff spot. I think that's a good fit for him, given Julks' inconsistencies throughout the playoffs. Granted, he's our only source of runs today. Good play there at short by Ellie De La Cruz. That'll wrap up the 5th, still 2-1. Still no sign of making a change out of the bullpen as expected. Noah Schultz staying in the game. Pitch count is really low as he gets Trey Turner to swing and miss at the fastball. The Phillies offense caught fire in between games 2 and 3, but in terms of consistency throughout the series, there really hasn't been much. They do get a hit here from Luis Garcia. He'll hold up at first. Good cut off by Cato. Good throw as well, and Cato doesn't really have that good of an arm. He's not a great defender minus his speed, but that was a good play. Anybody else on the left, that might be a double. Miller swinging a miss on the fastball. 3 scoreless for Noah Schultz. The real question at this point is how much longer do we have him go? I was only going to have him go into either inning 6 or 7, but he might be able to last longer. Pause. As Edgar Caro leads off the bottom of the 6th with a walk. Leadoff runner aboard, Kyle Teal. Now a little bit more comfortable. 99 contact versus righties. Belts it into right for a single. 114 off the bat. Another hit for Kyle Teal. I feel like he should be the World Series MVP even if we lose. I mean, he's clearly been the best player. Marte on the ground. Could be 2. And it is. Caro does advance to third, but that is still not the at-bat that we were certainly hoping for. Good chance to drive him in, however. Full count for Shane Schmidt. Drew a walk earlier. Draws another one there. Schmidt hasn't really hit the ball today, but he hasn't needed to. He's drawn a pair of walks. Good stuff from the Rook. 3-1 for Cato. Also drew a walk earlier. This one is going to be blooped into right. It is a fair ball. 3-1 lead. Both runners are going. Rincones was slow to get it in right field. That is a 63-mile-an-hour double for Douglas Cato. Chicago adds to the lead. Not a bad World Series debut for the kid. Julks is intentionally walked. That'll load the bases for the other youngster, Barney Wagner, who pops this one into left. Yeah, you thought we were going to get 2 bases-loaded hits in the same game? Yeah, think again. Sox do get 1, though. Douglas Cato adds to our lead, and we'll move into the 7th. Bryce Harper belts it into left. Leadoff single. Phillies just got to stack base runners. They're down by 2, not 12. This is a very doable comeback for an offense who is at their best in spurts when they get hot. We're going to take Schultz out there. Very good outing from him. 3 innings, only 2 hits, no runs so far. And we're going to bring in Carlos Estevez, who has not pitched since his Game 2 meltdown. He didn't allow the go-ahead run, but he was the one who kind of started it. De La Cruz into right, at the track, at the wall. It is caught! 911, I'd like to report a robbery. Cam Smith scales the wall and makes the catch. I'm being a little dramatic. I don't know if that would have gone over, but it would have been a double, so it's still something. Runner goes for second. The throw is in time! Kyle Teal, part-time ball player, full-time sniper. Harper goes back to the dugout. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Phillips against Cam Smith. That one over the glove of Garcia. Rolls to the wall in right center. Should go for a lead-off double. The more runs, the merrier. We are not comfortable with a 2-run lead, especially given that we don't have our closer, Ezra Valenzuela, available since he's already pitched in this game. Luis Robert rips it into left for a hit. We are going to hold Smith at third with nobody out, especially considering he would have been out at the plate. It just would have been foolish to send him. Runners on the corners, though. Nobody out. Great chance to add to the lead. Caro draws a walk, and the bases are loaded again. We've got nobody out. This is our chance to really make some plays, bring in some runs, and take a comfortable lead, especially with Kyle Teal being the guy who's up. 1-2, swing and a miss on the circle change. Kyle Teal is hacking at everything throughout the postseason, and it's hard to get mad at him because it's working, but he's had a couple bad swing decisions and is not drawing many walks. Marte into center, caught by Crawford. That'll be plenty of room for Cam Smith to score. He is safe. Luis Robert, meanwhile, makes it over to third. A 4-1 lead off the sacrifice fly by Ketel Marte. We will gladly take that. So Phillips will be taken out of the game. Overall, he wasn't horrible. Well, he started off not horrible, then it kind of got bad. And it could get worse, depending on if Josh Spores lets these runs come in. He's in a little bit of a jam. 2 outs, runners on the corners. Big spot for the next hitter, that being Shane Schmidt. 2 walks today for the 18-year-old kid. Let's see if he can drive in a run or 2 or 3. So he hits it pretty solid into center. That's not going to fall, though. Crawford makes the play. 4-1 going into the 8th. Bullpen, I swear to God. We are up 5-1 in Game 2 and lost. So let's not let that happen again. Out of the bullpen for the White Sox will be Joe Jimenez. He has not had a great postseason for us. 6.23 ERA in 4 1/3 innings. Righties are hitting 400 against him. Well, on the bright side, that number will go down with the Davis Schneider ground out. Back-to-back righties due up for the Phillies. That's why we brought the righty in. And then after that, they've got a bunch of lefties. So we will certainly be swift in terms of bringing in a lefty. Pages. That one is in time. Good throw it short. That was a close call for the second out of the inning. Trey Turner now. I don't know why the Phillies have all these righties next to each other and then all the lefties next to each other. It's kind of stupid. As Turner draws a walk. So they do have a lefty up, Luis Garcia. I would rather have Brock Burke only have to pitch the 9th. So because of that, we're going to keep Jimenez in the game here. 2-2 for Garcia. That ball is launched into right. The Phillies are within 1. A 400-foot home run for Luis Garcia. Number 5 on the postseason. And all of a sudden, we've got a game. Once again, a 4-3 lead now for Chicago. The Phillies cut it into thirds. So obviously, we're not going to keep Jimenez in any longer. The decision to have him out there against Garcia backfired, and that means we're going to need a 4-out save from Brock Burke. And instead of being up by 3, we're only up by 1. That's a lot less wiggle room and a lot more margin for error. With Brock Burke back in the fold, that's a big reason why I've been aggressive with a guy like Ezra Valenzuela, because I have someone in Burke who I'm confident can close out games. I'm not so sure of anybody else in the bullpen. Rincones, however, hits this one into the left field corner, and that's going to go for a double. So the Phillies have the tie and run in scoring position. Aiden Miller, who's one of their best players and has had an awesome postseason, has a massive at-bat upcoming. Certainly can't hurt that he's ahead of the count. 3-1 is the potential go-ahead run. That was a close one. I thought that might have been ball 4. They call the circle change in. These officials continue to give every 50-50 call the way of the White Sox. It's been that way the entire postseason, especially tonight. Miller fouls off the inside fastball. Good pitch by Burke. Miller had to protect, had to swing the bat there, but not an easy one to hit. Count remains full, 3-2. Tying run at second base. Got him looking on the high sinker. Brock Burke gets us out of the 8th. On one hand, not a good inning, right? The Phillies scored 2 with the homer by Garcia. They are within 1. But the sigh of relief that the entire stadium had once Miller struck out was noticeable. As Corey Jelks goes down on the slider. Good pitch by Miguel Castro, who is still in the game for the Phillies. He gets Wagner on the fastball. So a quick inning here in the 8th for Castro. We'll move into the 9th. Burke's still in, looking for the save. He'll start with Harper. On the ground, Caro, backhanded play, tags the base for out number 1. That'll bring us to Elly De La Cruz, who has played really at his best, I feel like, throughout the World Series, although has struggled today. A dribbler, if anyone's going to beat it out, it's him. The throw is in time! Kyle Teal guns him down, and the game comes down to the bat of Justin Crawford. Behind in the count, 1-2. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. As he looks at the slider, first 2 were swinging, the last one looking. Hasn't even put the bat to the ball in fair play. 2-2 now for Crawford. Burke looks to slam the door, and this one is on the ground to third. 1 hops, Wagner to first, in time! White Sox win it 4-3, and the World Series is now a best of 3. We're tied at 2. This is such a huge win for us. After the Phillies stole Game 2, and then we laid an egg in Game 3, we had no choice. A 3-1 comeback with no momentum would feel nearly impossible against an experienced team like the Phillies, but we battled in this one. We took an early lead. We added some insurance late, some needed insurance with the homer by Luis Garcia in the 8th. Pitching was stout. Offense wasn't great, but they were good enough to ultimately help us win the game, to tie it at 2, going into games 5 and 6 in the next episode. The hitting still has not given us enough. In the 2 games today, we had 4 runs and 12 hits. Not ideal. We did draw 7 walks. Again, we're getting a ton of walks against the Phillies, which is great. But we do need some more hits. No power, though. We didn't homer in either game today. And then the pitching was terrific. Ezra was really good. Noah Schultz was awesome. 3 scoreless. The rest of the bullpen, for the most part, played well other than Jimenez. Phillies with a couple of homers. Harper and Garcia, but not much offense otherwise. Abbott was fine. Back end of the bullpen was good. Phillips was okay. So the series is tied at 2. We are going to get a really exciting end to the World Series, with next episode being Game 5 in Chicago, our final home game of the year, and then Game 6 in Philadelphia, with Hayden Wisniewski and Taj Bradley, the 2 starters who I trust the most, being on the mound. Next episode, we can win the World Series, guys. Is that not crazy? No, we can also lose the World Series as well, or send it to a Game 7. A lot is on the line. I hope you guys are ready. Make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Peace out.